ones we're going to use. Explicit, which we're not going to use. Fashion, food, history, blah, 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 right? I want to stay very clear of political and religion and probably science. And so, but we're going to probably have it, for now, just swap between dev and keep it there for now. Maybe between dev and animal or something. I don't know. We'll see what it does. But at least I can control now the types of jokes that come back, right? And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this API spec, and I'm going to write the code to like pull random jokes back from the API. And so then here in a few minutes, you'll be like, hey, Jasper Check, give me a random Chuck Norris joke, and it'll pull from here. But then we'll also see if we can find, like, you know, dead jokes and other fun stuff, and we'll just pull a few of them in, and then there'll be different ways you can ask, right, to get different types of jokes, right? So that's kind of what we're going to build real quick on stream. It, you know, shouldn't take too terribly long, and you know, if you have questions about anything I'm doing, feel free to ask. You know, I'm a senior DevOps engineer by day, and enjoy playing around and tinkering with this stuff in my spare time, and we're just kind of messing around a little bit here, trying to improve the fun factor of the bot a little bit. That's really it. So, all right, now what we got to do is I have this API token that it won't. So this is for the Rapid API. I don't really know the major difference in this and Chuck Norris, unless they've curated it maybe a little bit. Because this one's just random, right? But this one says random with the category, so we may not even need that API from them. I think we can just do this, right? So let me throw that over here. So I don't even think we need the API key thing. We're going to try it without the API key one. So let me copy this link. We can close this out for now. Drop this here. All right, so to start with, we're going to need to make a quick and dirty requests library, right, for this. So make dir Chuck Norris API. And for now, we're just going to do a real basic, you know, request type setup, right? And so I already have one of those pretty easily here. Actually, not there. Sorry. I already had it in the repo I was in. So in here in the actions, we have some pretty basic calls already. So it's literally pretty much like something just like this, right? We won't need the API key or anything, but we're just gonna do a quick do file requirements.txt. We'll just put requests. I don't remember what version it is for now. I'm not really worried about it. We're gonna do a new file called jokes.py. Import requests. And we're going to say API URL. It's going to be that. We're going to take off. For now, we'll just do it with the one category. We might set it to where it'll randomize between categories maybe or something. That might be something kind of fun to have. But, you know, we'll get to that point. But so for now, we're just going to change this category, just hard set it to dev. And then now all we need here is the API URL, right? So that should theoretically give us back something. And then we just want to print the response dot content. Right, see what it looks like. So we're going to do a Python 3 now we can do a pip. And that looks like it's using 228.2. So we can just hard set that now. Right, and so now Python jokes.py. Right, here we go. First one, right? So hopefully you guys can see that. It says Chuck Norris can write infinite recursion functions and have them return, right? So it's doing funny dev related jokes, right? We could also check and see, you know, what some of these others might look like too. Let's see, like if we did money, for example. Let's see what those look like. Chuck Norris is so money, he's accepted at all high street retailers. I don't know, that one seems kind of silly. Chuck Norris will not be printed on money. No one pays out Chuck Norris ever. Yeah, I don't know. I think even some of those could get a little sketchy. So I think we just keep this to dev for now to make sure we don't run into many problems. And so this one's going to be a really easy one to write, right? Because the code's pretty straightforward for now for this. And so now we have like a real basic thing, right? So all we have to do is move this into the regular Jasper code now. So you guys, anyone that hasn't, you're now going to kind of see how the Jasper code works, right? You're going to kind of get to see the whole pipeline and how all that whole process is, you know, basically working now. So let's do this real quick. All right. So what we're going to do is make sure we're all up to date. Now we're going to do a branch called feature. We're just going to call it Chuck Norris, right? He gets his own feature branch name, right? And so now we just need to pull up the code. We'll go ahead and build the action thing real quick because it's going to be easy. Pretty much work off of one of these. So we're going to call it action Chuck Norris. Excuse me. Alright, so what we're going to do now, make sure this is all good. We're good there. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is modify this now for this action, right? So this is just going to be called Chuck Norris API endpoint. We don't need a token. This can go away. What we're really going to put here, actually we can just use something more like this. This is better. Let's just take this. No point in reinventing the wheel when I already have the code written. Right. don't need that. And so our API endpoint, right? Remember, that's this setup for now. And then the response is just going to be that, right? And if you remember from our output, what we want out of here is the actual, that's where it gives a URL. I don't know what the URL would be to. Let's see. Probably just like a JSON output or something. Oh yeah, it's just to the quote. So what we want though is we want to grab out the value, right? That's what we need here. So, and I always click that damn thing. I'm gonna start taking it off of my thing. I don't need Rancher right now. We don't need local Kubernetes. Alright, so all we got to do now is do that. So here's our URL, here's our response. So we're going to say if the status code is good, our joke is going to be equal to the response.content text, right? If I've got that correct, it should be that. And then Jasper's response is going to just end up being joke. So it should just be text, so it should work fine. And then we'll get rid of these. And then he's just going to give the response, right? Otherwise, we're going to say, sorry, Chuck Norris appears to be taking a break at the moment, right? Here we're just going to say error occurred trying to get a joke from Chuck, and we'll just do our response dot content here, right? And then that'll be the error, right? So that's how easy it is to get that going. We'll verify this locally in a second. So that works. So now what we got to do is add in our training data. Later we'll probably split this. As we add more joke stuff, we'll probably split it into like a slot value thing, so you can be like, hey, I want a joke, a Chuck Norris joke, or I want a dead joke, or whatever, right? And those would be slot values, and that's something we'll probably start to work on in the coming weeks on stream, just to kind of showcase how some of that stuff works. But for now, I want to keep this, simple so people can kind of learn from this and understand how this stuff works. So now we're going to do a new intent. We're going to call it Chuck Norris jokes. Like, I would like a Chuck Norris joke, please. Do you know any funny Chuck Norris jokes? Can you give me Alright, we're just giving it different ways. And I'm trying to keep it to Chuck Norris for now because we may add other stuff in, right? So later we can have a slot values and things of this, but what's another way? Make me laugh, Chuck Norris style. Well, thank you. Figured it'll take that thing a minute to not be lava anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, so what else we got? I'd like to hear a funny Chuck Norris joke. I'd like to hear a Chuck Norris joke, right? And so now that's our intent. We need to go real quick under our domain while I've got that in my thing. This is our action, so I still have that one saved, so that's our action file name. And then over here we called our intent Chuck Norris jokes, so we have to add that as a new intent, right? And then now we can go into our stories and we can copy out some existing ones that we already have, or one of these at the bottom. There's other values in the story we can do, but for now I try to keep it pretty simple, where they like might say hello to the bot, they might ask for help, and then it'll throw them into this, right? So the NLU is called Chuck Norris jokes. So we're just going to change this to be Chuck Norris jokes. Right, and then we just have to put that action file name in. Right, so now our Chuck Norris story is done. The last thing we have to do is the tests. Like I said, if you have questions about any of this stuff too, just let me know. I've got some of this documented too. I'm trying to get it to where everyone can just contribute to the bot if they like. If they want to learn Python, or if they already know Python and want to learn something new, or if they already know Rasa and want to contribute. So this is going to be called Chuck Norris jokes, and then we need that. And then we're gonna change, excuse me, change this, add these in, action, and then now we just need the phrases, right, so that we came up with. Let me close this out. So we'll use this one for one of the stories, right, and then we need one up here. Oh, I also need to update that action. Let's do that before I forget. That one needed to get updated. Alright. Okay. So then we need the name for that one, right? Or the info. So we'll do this one. And then we need one more for the last one. Do this one. And this is just basically training, so, or test stuff. So when it runs through my CI process and everything, it will run through and test all of these and make sure that the bot can actually respond correctly and everything, right? So that's what's happening here. So that's all done. We have our stories, we have our NLU, we have our domain file set up. So the last thing to really do is to test this out locally and make sure it works how we expect it to. So that's pretty easy. What we can do here is Doppler run Rasa run actions. I gotta do Doppler setup here. Jasper, let's call it prod for now. Oh, sorry, you gotta do it at the root. There, that should. Oh, I forgot to. I forgot I'm not in my virtual environment. Oh, I haven't created one yet. I forgot I recreated this this repo locally because I renamed everything a while back and I never got around to changing it yet, so that's the issue. So we got to do VMV, create my virtual environment. Alright, and then do a pip install -r requirements. And then we're also going to use it off of the same one, so we're going to install those two when that's done. And then we'll bring this all up locally, make sure it all works, and then we just literally deploy our code, and I'll show you guys the whole process. It's all automated now, so. One thing I think we might do is go ahead and add, after this works, we might add some auto versioning stuff to the Rasa action server, because I haven't done that yet. But outside of that, we should be solid. The bot itself is auto versioned, I just haven't done it for the action server yet. Now we want to do a pip install -r actions. So that's done. Alright, so now I can do a Doppler run Rasa run actions. That'll work. Alright, so now our action server's running. So now same kind of thing, we do a source.vmv bin activate. And now we can just do a Rasa train, because we need to build our model. Hope everyone is doing well this Sunday afternoon. I streamed earlier this morning. We had a really good turnout too. I really appreciate everyone that showed up. We had about, for a while there, we had about 11 to 12 people consistently watching and interacting and engaging. It was really nice. But I started getting a migraine headache really bad. So I had to hop off for a little while, but I wanted to come back and do a little bit more with this, just because I'm kind of bored today. I don't have a whole lot going on either. So why not try to get the viewership up? And I think we're, like I've said in our Discord channel, I think we're going to hit affiliate tomorrow. So we're going to have some fun stuff tomorrow from that. Should be able to start doing emotes, and if people so want to, they can subscribe and other fun stuff. I'm going to come up with things that are fun for people, you know, if they do stuff like that. I want to try to give back to the people that actually, you know, put money into that kind of stuff. We also have the loyalty thing. I activated that today through Stream Elements. I meant to do it before. So now there's a leaderboard. Everyone that's watching, you get points. And so basically there's points and everything on the leaderboard, and it mentions here like what you get. I'm not going to show it right here, but you get get this pulled up. You get 5 points right now, and tell me if you think this is like not good and we can change it, but you get 5 points every 10 minutes. Subscribers, eventually when that happens, you'll get 3 times the amount. If you follow, you'll get 10 points upon following. If you eventually host me, I don't know, I haven't really done that, then you also get 30 points. So just like hanging around, you get points, and then those points can turn into things that you can do, excuse me, on stream. So for example, let's say that you've been listening for a hot minute now since I've activated this. I'm sorry for the people that haven't. I might just give out some loyalty points here soon. But let's say I want to have some points for me. Right? And now because I have the points, I can do fun things like this. Wow, this DevOps stuff is...
Wow, this DevOps stuff is pretty cool.
Right, so now you can basically redeem TTS on the stream and do TTS, and it should have, tell me for anyone that's watching, it should have auto-ducked music enough that you should have been able to hear the TTS pretty well, I think, too. If not, I can adjust that. But that's something I figured would be kind of cool, and it's free. All you have to do is just watch me, and over time you'll get some stuff like that. I'm gonna try to think of some other things I can do with it too, but I figured that'd be kind of a fun little thing. People can do TTS messages to me or to the channel, right? So now we have our model trained, so now we can do the Rasa shell command. This is just going to allow us to interact with the bot locally. I think it ducked okay. We'll test it. I could test it again. Hold on. Let's try it. Well, I got to give myself some more points.
This is pretty cool stuff.
So did that work, or did the music overpower it? I mean, in my headphones I could hear it okay. Because I need to adjust that if that's not the case. Okay, yeah. So I have to figure out how I can do that, because it's playing through my desktop audio, not through my mic, obviously, right? So I have to sort that out, or just keep the... I mean, I keep the music most of the time pretty low anyway. So I don't know. We'll figure it out over time, but I'm just playing around with stuff, trying to keep things interesting here. So that being said, now we can ask it like, can you tell me a Chuck Norris joke? Alright, it didn't like something. Bytes, not string. Is that a Alright, hold on. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Maybe it's not. I just assumed that that was a dictionary that it was giving back, but so print type response.text print all content. I thought it would be like that, but maybe I'm wrong. I really am digging the Doppler stuff too, by the way. Yeah, I figured I'd have to though, Tracks, because like this, I played around with this thing back during the Mycroft days, and I made some Mycroft jokes and stuff, and it got a little raunchy with some of the things. But for anyone that's curious, that's the Doppler. That's what we're using as a secret management tool. I'm really liking it. Let's try this again. Tell me a Chuck Norris joke. Response object. Oh, so is it just respond? What did I do? What did I do wrong? Did I? Response.content. I thought that would work. It says it's a class bytes. What the hell? Isn't there like a response.json or something, right? I think. I'm a little rusty with requests. I haven't used it in a hot minute. Used to use it a ton. Alright, so that gives me back a dict. Alright, so... let's see what that looks like. Alright, so now we have... value in here, so now we should be good. So we can just say, I like keeping things clean, so we're just gonna say JSON response equals that, and then the joke will be like that. Okay, what did I get wrong? Key error text. I could have swore that's what it was. No? What did I miss? It's very possible I missed the wrong thing there. Alright, one more time. Can you tell me a Chuck Norris joke? And then category. Is it just looking at this as a one thing? Like, I don't understand. It's a, oh, it's a value. I keep saying text, don't I? That's the problem. It's not, it's value. Shoot. That's the problem. I was used to that other API I was working with earlier this morning. That's the problem. That should do it. Can you tell me a Chuck Norris joke? There we go, right? Chuck Norris doesn't need a debugger. He just stares down the bug until the code confesses, right? So we're good to go there. This works, right? So we can kill these two things. We go get status -u. So in this case, it's going to remake the action server Docker image and rebuild that and push it. And then it's going to build a new version of the chatbot model. And the way that's going to work is because I'm going to do a git add here. And then I'm going to do a CZC. CZC is a shortcut for commitizn commit. Oh, thanks for the follow, Rafix. Sorry if I just butchered that. CZC is a shortcut for commitizn commit. Commitizn is a tool that lets you build conventional commit messages easier, and it's also, I use it for all of my auto versioning stuff. I have some things on my blog about it, on how you can use it. But it basically allows you, to create a commit message easier. So I can do that, and we're going to say this is a new feature. We're just going to call it, the scope is going to be Chuck Norris, adding in Chuck Norris jokes that are based on the dev category. Alright, that gets pushed. Then this is where all of the fun happens, right? So now from here, we create a pull request. This is going to go out and start a couple checks. Code factor looks fine. It's going to start this workflow. This is the one that's going to build and train the model and test it and everything for the PR, make sure it's all good, right? Which is what it's done here. So give that a second. I'm gonna take a bite of my pizza. If you have questions about any of this pipeline stuff or anything, let me know. You can figure out where this code is if you just mention JasperBot and ask him where his source code is. He will link you to this as well. I'm going to change that TTS from 600 points. We're going to make it like 300, I think, is a better number. We'll start with that. So it won't cost as much to use the TTS. But yeah, this is just going to run through, like I said, it's, you know, building a model, testing everything. So it's running the Rasa test command right now. So that's going to test against that test stories file that we updated, right? So that's how it knows like what phrases to test and to make sure the bot's at least going to answer the way that we think it should, right? I am really excited though about hitting affiliate because I think it'd be cool. It's going to be cool to get like custom emotes made. Like I don't mind paying people, you know, in the community or whatever that, you know, to do that stuff that are good at it. I think it'd be kind of cool to get some IT crowd, you know, custom emotes made from that show. I used to love watching that show. I still will go back and watch it. I might even go back later after stream and start binging it again. I don't remember. Did you like that show much? Could you get into it? No. Was it because it was like the British humor thing, or was it more because it was an IT thing?
It was an IT thing. I can't get into
The IT thing. You couldn't get into it because of that. Yeah. So I don't know. Does anyone here not know about the IT crowd? Should I like enlighten you on what the IT crowd is? You can let me know in chat if you don't know what it is, and I'll pull up a clip or something. So you can see that finished, right? So now we can merge this, and this is where the real fun begins and the magic happens. So we merge this. And now we just kind of wait, and it's going to go out and do a few things here. Give me a second. I'm gonna do something over here too. So you can see it's going through and it's running through a few things now. So yeah, I love that show. I'll play a clip here in a second just to show people. I think I can do that without really getting into any major issues, I hope. Especially if it's on YouTube. I don't think it's a big deal. But what this is doing now is it's going through and it should have, yeah, it already built this, right? It went out and rebuilt the action server and pushed that image. Now it's doing, now it's generating the model because it bumped the version automatically, right? I have a step that does that. And then now it's training the model that it's going to upload to GitHub. That's going to be based off of the new version that it recreated, right? Which I think in this case it's going to be 19, I think is we're up to. So we're up to 0.19.0. So it's going to create that, and then it's going to go over and modify my Argo deployment stuff, which reminds me I need to get that pulled up so I can show that real quick. Hold on. I need to just put this in my shell script or my RC ZSH file. So now we can do what's that command? Hold on, history. Now port forward Argo again. Okay, so you can see from earlier now we have our tracker API, right? So we have a new app in here now called Tracker API. It's hard to see, but the Jasper Twitch chat one is still over there to the right. All right, so this is kind of what we have now in Argo. And so, you know, what's going to happen is I'm going to, in a minute, force the action server to re-update because I'm still using latest. I need to, you know, like I said, I need to set up the auto versioning for that one. But we'll redeploy that so it gets the latest one. Then Rasa will auto deploy here in a second when this is all done. It should redeploy a new version of it because it's going to see that model version get updated in the deployment file, so I'm going to let that run too. But the action server should already be good to go, right? So we can just redeploy the action server while we're waiting. And so I can just come here and literally, we could try the sync. Most of the time it won't work because it doesn't realize the Docker image is really changing, right? Because it's still latest. So what I do for this case for now is we just come here and delete this. This will take Jasper down for just a brief second, and then I do sync, replace, and then it should rebuild this off of that new image. And the way we'll know is we can log, we'll do the kubectl logs for this pod when it's up, and we should see it say like that it registered the new Chuck Norris, you know, API, right? That action, right? We should see it in the logs. This you can see is now done, right? It created a new version, 0.19. It moved that model file into that names, and then it uploaded it to the GitHub for the release, and then it went out and modified our deployment file over here. So if we open this, this is where our deployment is inside of this here. So it went here and updated this to 19 automatically for me, right? That will then trigger. This is still going. Okay, that's clean. We'll check that in a second. That is now going to trigger Rasa here in a second to rebuild, right? Well, not rebuild. It's going to trigger another new deployment that gets built. So it's going to trigger a new pod. That pod's going to come up, become healthy, then the old one's going to go away, and the bot never goes down in the middle, right? So like right now, if we still ask it things like hello, right, that works. Show me the Cosmos, which is still triggering the old action server, right? So that's all still working, but the Jasper, you know, tell me a Chuck Norris joke, that won't work yet, right? Because it's not up. Right, and it still thinks like it classified that incorrectly, right? Like that should have been an unknown, out of scope thing, right? But it classified it as thinking I was asking for the builds, right? Chuck Norris, I don't get that. We'll have to, that'll be interesting. We'll go and look in a second how it classified that. But typically it would say, sorry, I don't know how to do that, right? So here though, what's going to happen, I'm just going to kind of force it along with a sync. See how it says out of sync and now it's syncing and there's a new pod being created, right? So from the CLI perspective, right, it looks something like this. So you can see I already have we have our old new action server already running, right? But see how it's terminating the old Rasa and the new one's already almost up. Shouldn't be actually terminating that one before the old one's up. That's kind of weird, but I guess it's not. It doesn't realize this one's completely up, maybe? That's weird. It shouldn't do that. Normally it does not do that. So right now, though, that pod is coming up. I think it just came up all the way, too, it looks like. Yeah, right? So theoretically everything's good. Let's check the action server and see if it actually loaded what I was talking about. So if you do a kubectl logs on that pod, see, action Chuck Norris. So it already loaded in that, right? So now if we come back over to chat, tell me a Chuck Norris joke. Boom, right? Chuck Norris breaks RSA 128-bit encrypted codes in milliseconds, right? That's how easy it is now with the proper, in my opinion, proper CI/CD to add something new to the chatbot. It's that easy. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you can, please like and subscribe and follow me on YouTube. Also check the link in the descriptions for my Twitch channel and come watch me live there. Do all sorts of fun, crazy DevOps, coding, chatbot related stuff. Thanks. Have a good day.